Summoner's Rift.
All right, welcome everybody. We're getting into our fourth game of the night. Venom on the blue side going to be up against the new Exalt on the red side. Exalt coming away from a win in our first match of the night. So they've got to definitely be feeling good about that momentum. We'll be carrying with them into this game. We'll see if that's going to make a big difference in the outcome. Venom, very strong team, previously tied for number one until they ended up losing to Victorious Secret. Victorious scheduled for our sixth game of the night tonight. That game may end up getting pushed to next week depending on how quickly we blow through this next series of games. But Venom, New Exalt, both going into this week with a 2-1 record, both only having lost to Victorious. So definitely going to be an even matchup across the board. Going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. Wilson Jones did not end up getting his RA this time around. Going to be taking his Ziggs in, and as a player who's seen Wilson Jones perform on a variety of occasions, got to say that the Ziggs mid almost just as scary as the Ari. Whereas Malkathos going to be taking Vladimir mid. That's an interesting pickup. In the top lane, it's going to be Kennen against Jax. Jerry Sandusky going to have the range on Rigel Q. Rigel not doing the greatest in the top lane last time around. We'll see if he's able to turn things around. A lockdown going on to Mycroft here. Mark's main ends up getting the Foxburst bomb onto him. Great damage coming out. Forces the flash away from Mycroft. Both summoners still available for Sankenyo and Mark's main. Crack Variety, got to be careful here. Ends up eating the snare. The Phosphorus bomb going to go down onto him and forces the exhaust out. Mycroft is down both summoners. Crack Variety still in possession of both of his, but this lane is quickly turning in favor of Venom. Both junglers transitioning over to the left-hand side of the map. Simple Baggins clearing out his red buff here. Sitting awful low on hit points after that clear. Gonna decide to go back. Zark just now finishing up his blue buff. Crack Variety engaged onto the snare and stun, both going to hit, and Marksman just laying out the damage from behind his tank support. That's going to lead to this bottom lane being pushed up onto the turret. New Exalt gonna have to farm underneath for the meantime. In the mid lane, it is deadlocked. Mycroft ends up getting stunned and snared here. Sankenyo really on point with those abilities. Wilson Jones will get ganked by Zark here. Uses his bomb to displace the enemy ganker and get himself away from that situation. Really good satchel charge from Wilson Jones. Not going to need to burn any summoners on that. Still pumping out plenty of damage, returning it back onto Malkathos. Malkathos sustaining quite well. Ended up starting with the boot spot. Simple Baggins coming in for a gank here. Doesn't hit the Q. Unfortunate. Leaves Jerry Sandusky to go back to base. And first blood going to be picked up by Wilson Jones. That fight wasn't even close. Malkathos biting off way more than he can chew there. Thought he had the advantage going into that one. But Wilson Jones just pumping out quite a bit of nukes with the Ignite. Going to take him down. Ignite being burned on both sides of that engagement now. And for those of you just now tuning in, houseparty5v5.com is the website. You can check us out on our subreddit as well. And we've got our solo league occurring pretty much nightly. If you want to get on those games, join our official TeamSpeak server. The details, info for that are on the subreddit. And we can get you in, become a part of the game. So far, several players have joined our solo league and have been scouted and picked up for vacant roster positions in our Saturday league. Jerry Sandusky using his E to get in the middle of that minion wave there. Not going to find much. Those minions pumping out a lot of return harass. Wilson Jones uses a satchel charge to get Malkathos back within range. He's just throwing those auto attacks out. Misses with his Q though. In the bottom lane, farm is going in favor of Mark's main, as is the harass. Both he and Sankenyo still in possession of their summoner spells. Mycroft's flash looking to come up within the next minute or two. Zark missing with the flag and drag, and Wilson Jones' satchel charge puts him straight back at his turret. Another failed gank. Not going to get any summoners. Ping's going down on to Zark. They spotted him out in the river near the dragon. Are calling for help from their bottom laners. Crack Variety and Mycroft trying to get in there. Wilson Jones throwing the bombs out. Zark ends up eating the slow here. Has to flash up out of it. Simple Baggins gets in there with the Q, but misses that one. That allows Zark to escape. And that 4-man gank in the bottom not going to pick up a kill. Just provide some map pressure. That will let New Exalt breathe a little bit easier. Zark is sitting here on a ward. Does not know it though. We'll see if T&E decide to make use of that information. They have his jungle heavily warded up. Simple Baggins landing the Q this time. Malkathos plenty healthy though. He's going to survive that gank just fine. Jerry Sandusky getting pushed up back onto his turret. He is sat there for quite a while this game. Behind in farm at 38-50. Has finished his Seeker's Arm Guard to try to help him with that Jax damage. Zark has to land his smite here in order to pull this off. Executes. 1 health left on the red buff. Not a good position for Zark to be in. Only 1 kill so far this game at 8.5 minutes in. Things still sitting relatively close between both sides. At the moment, Sinful Baggins, level 5, working on his level 6. Zark still sitting at level 4. His smite is down, and he's heading back to the red buff for attempt number 2. Meanwhile, red team pinging out that river area. Looks like they want to try to set up for a dragon here, or at least get some vision onto that area. Malkathos back at it with Wilson Jones, giving just as much as he gets here in the mid lane. Sinful Baggins coming in for the gank, but Malkathos is going to pull away from that one. Ends up eating a bomb on the way back. Brilliant E from Sankenyo. The ultimate going to catch Mycroft out. Crack Variety and him both on the run. Mark's main forces them to get up out of there and puts that flash back on cooldown. Flash now on cooldown for both sides. Just the exhaust left up for Mycroft, and T&E finding themselves in a rough position in the bottom lane. So far, haven't given any kills over to the other side. But that farm difference is starting to mount a 20 CS difference in favor of Venom. Rigel being the one to have to farm underneath his turret now. Has that sheen for the extra damage on his engagements. Jerry Sandusky chugging away at the potions, and Rigel's burned through the last of his. Rigel sitting at about half health while Jerry's virtually full. Ultimate is available for him, so if he's able to apply a few stacks of his passive and get that stun off, he may decide to go full on. The bouncing bomb gonna miss Malkathos in the middle lane. Ends up putting the charges down. Get some good damage before Malkathos decides to back off out of that one. Looks like Zark's going to score himself a pink ward in the middle of the river. And neither team really making a move for the dragon at this stage. Both just mutually respecting one another. This bottom lane still pushing in favor of Venom. CS lead near 30 for Marksmain at this point, and Crack Variety is just falling behind. Simple Baggins coming up behind Malkathos for the gank here. Ends up going in with the Q, locks him down with the R. Malkathos gonna have to get away from the situation, puts the Hemoplague down onto Wilson Jones. Wilson with the satchel charge out is going to keep himself alive. That was completely in the hands of T&E. Very close match in that middle lane. The red ping's coming out, spotting Zark stepping through that tri-brush. Red ping's going down onto the dragon. Looks like red team might consider a move toward that area. Not the best position to be in though. Bottom lane is pushed up. Mycroft and Variety would have to move straight past two members of Venom in order to get to that dragon area, and meanwhile, Sinful Baggins just standing around in that river brush. Crack Variety getting blown up here. Sycanio with a great ultimate, and Zark brings up the backside for the assist. That's 2 down in the bottom lane. Great engagement for Venom. Attempting to equalize things here. They were behind in gold, now only by about 500, so they have bridged that gap with those 2 kills in the bottom lane. Great momentum for them. They're going to want to keep it up. Sandusky turns on the ultimate here against Rigel Q, tries to flash away, ends up eating the auto attack. Not going well for him. Jerry Sandusky down only by about 12 farm, so he's keeping up with the farm. Just ended up giving that kill over to Rigel Q. Rigel's going to make good use of that gold. Sancanio going in hard onto Wilson Jones. Malkathos coming up behind with the assist. Sinful Baggins on top of Zark here, chases him back into his jungle. Malkathos and Sancanio have the option to go in onto Sinful Baggins. Wilson Jones is standing close by. Both teams dancing around one another. Neither one wanting to give up too much ground, but at this point, New Exalt starting the dragon. They get found out thanks to Sancanio's ward over the wall. Variety going in for a dangerous buckshot. Looks like New Exalt are going to pull off of this dragon. Do not want to risk it. We'll see if Venom try to come in and take that objective instead, and they do. They start this dragon up. T&E bridging the gap here, trying to put up a defense. Sancanio goes in hard, ends up getting the ultimate down onto Crack Variety with the Hemoplague. That's going to put Crack Variety out of this fight. He will survive though. Sinful Baggins running away. A beautiful ultimate from Wilson Jones. Going to catch out 4 members of T&E. Venom and T&E are heading back. Venom limping away from that fight. The exchange still going in the favor of the New Exalt. Dragon goes over to Venom though. Jerry Sandusky teleporting back up to the top lane. Rigel just putting insane amounts of damage back onto him. He just got here, and within a few seconds, he's already down to about 1/3 hit points. Zark gets found by Crack Variety thanks to that ward. Gonna stop the back here and put some impressive damage down onto him. He's got to be careful just a little bit more, and that's going to be a dead Jarvan. Zark heading to the safety of the turret before he teleports back. Sinful Baggin's going to donate that blue buff over to Wilson Jones. That is going to help him out immensely in this mid lane. Sustain being one of the big issues he was facing going in against a Vlad. Having that blue buff around is going to help him pump out a lot more damage. He's sitting on a substantial CS lead, looking at 42 creep difference between Wilson Jones and Malkathos. Wilson definitely establishing his dominance in that lane. Up 2 kills as well. At this point, a 2,000 gold lead in favor of the new Exalt. Wilson really coming through for his team and putting out a lot of damage, a lot of map control this week. Definitely with that roster pickup, making the new Exalt into a formidable opponent and a contender for the #1 spot. Of course, Venom right up there with them as well. Game still very close at this stage. Jerry Sandusky falling behind in that top lane as the gold continues to mount in favor of the new Exalt. Marksman and Sankenyo trying to get this turret down. 17 minutes in, despite having a pretty solid lead in that bottom lane. 50 CS difference between Crack Variety and Marksman at this point. Zark gonna go ahead and find Rigel's ward. That ward from Rigel gonna spot out anyone attempting to creep through that side of the jungle. Malkathos going in hard here. The snare ends up landing on Wilson Jones and Simple Baggins. Marksman is here to clean up, and that is a 2-for-0 exchange in favor of Venom. They completely caught Baggins and Jones out away from their team, and a great ult from Sankenyo ended up putting a huge slow down onto them, and that is going to open up this mid turret for Team Venom. Zark ends up catching a little bit too much turret aggro there. Not going to make a huge difference though, as this turret is going down. Second turret of the game for Venom. Only one down so far for the new Exalt. Zark trying to clear his jungle out here. Had a little struggle with that earlier in the game. And with that last fight, Venom end up equalizing the gold. Things have just rubber banded back and forth here. Both sides really putting up a very good fight. Very unclear at this stage how things are going to go. Sinful Baggins completing his jungle build, opts for the Ranger's Trailblazer. That's going to take away a little bit of his gank power. Meanwhile, Zark on the other side, though, getting a little bit outclassed at this stage. Still has not finished his jungle item. Decided to go for the Tiamat instead of rounding that one out. Does have the ability to smite champions, though. Malkathos going to have to pull away from this one. Ends up getting a 3-man Hemo Plague, and the Leona ultimate going to catch Sinful Baggins out. Wilson Jones going huge with his ultimate here. The Flash Q going to hit on Zark. That's going to be the 2-for-0 in favor of the new Exalt. The back and forth here has just been crazy. The amount that these teams are giving and getting from each other is just over the top. Right now, TNE looking to secure their second dragon of the game. Sankenyo gets found by Wilson Jones. Wilson not able to do too much to him. Jerry Sandusky joining the fight with his teammate here. New Exalt securing that dragon. Not securing that dragon. Gonna have to go back for attempt number 2. Venom chasing them off. Plenty happy to take out this blue buff though. Marksman clearing out that vision and starting things off for his team in the dragon pit. But at this point, New Exalt are right around the corner. This dragon's taking a lot of damage though. TNE not able to get in there and grab their first dragon of the game. Second one, however, going over to Venom. Venom really starting down a good path with those dragon kills. Still behind in gold, though. 2,000 in favor of the New Exalt. Not a huge gap, but if you take a look at the CS difference, 60 in favor of Wilson Jones in the middle of the lane. Of course, on the opposite side, you've got a 30 CS lead in favor of Marksman. Game going to be heavily dependent on Wilson Jones and Marksman, as whether or not they can carry their teams to victory. Both stand to pose a huge threat. As Wilson Jones able to get a lot of work done with his AoE. If Team Venom can keep Marksman protected and he can keep launching rockets and auto attacks from the back line, then that should prove disastrous for TNE. Of course, New Exalt have Sinful Baggins on the Vi, and the amount of lockdown potential of Vi carries is huge. Marksman gonna have to watch out for that. Baggins getting caught out here though. Finds Zark and Sankenyo. Malkathos flashes in to join his team here. Sinful Baggins finally gonna fall here, but Raijaki plenty happy to clean up the kill onto Zark. Marksman's left by himself in this bottom lane, just getting bullied out by Mycroft and Crack Variety. Those rockets definitely hurting though. The Trinity Force has been completed onto Marksman. He's hit his mid-game power spike, and he's going to be dealing quite a bit of damage for a while. Spots Crack Variety out there. At this point, he can 2v1. The ultimate going to hit him. Pops the heal here, flashes away, but the auto attack going to take the kill for Crack Variety. He had a ward in that brush, and that just spelled doom for Marksman. Would have been a really good escape, but try to fire off a few more rockets from the brush. Malkathos going hard onto Wilson Jones here. The Hemoplague going to hit him. He ends up taking the first kill away from Wilson Jones this game. 8 and 8 in kills. Still about 2,000 gold in between both teams. Still only 3 turrets on the map have fallen this game. We're at 24 minutes in, and this is just turning out to be a cold war between both sides. Not a lot of action, but when it happens, it really goes through. Rydzel jumping onto Jerry Sandusky now. Zark coming behind his teammate, try to provide support here. Rydzel having to head backwards, does not have the safety of his turret. Jerry Sandusky standing a little bit too close. The Cataclysm going to finish that one out and keep Jerry Sandusky safe. Sinful jumping in after him. Jerry pops the Zarya. Ends up being the target of the assaulted battery though. Mycroft left by himself. Gonna have to back up out of that one. 2-for-1 exchange in favor of the New Exalt. Momentum in the top lane going in favor of Venom as they look to grab their 3rd turret of the game. So far leading in objectives despite being slightly behind in gold for most of the game. The wave clear coming across from Wilson Jones. Gonna force Sankenyo, Zark, and Malkathos back up off of that turret. They're still hanging around in this jungle though. This could be a dangerous position for them to be in. Marksman has come up to join them though, and this may be the bait they need in order to get TNE in a bad position. Zark puts a lot of damage down on Crack Variety, but his team is not there to back him up. He and Malkathos will end up falling in that failed engagement. Sinful Baggins trying to make it 3 flashes with the Q. Wilson Jones going to pick that one up, sets his sight on Sancanyo. The double kill going over to Wilson, and TNE have just capitalized on a massive mistake by Venom. This game was tilting either direction at any time, and Venom had given the first real solid lead of the game over to the new Exalt. New Exalt heading back toward their base after their victory ended up securing an inner turret for their troubles after getting a few kills in their pocket. Gotta be happy about that one. Ward coverage is all over right side of the map for TNE. Venom, meanwhile, dropping quite a few wards on the left-hand side of the map. Both teams focusing on offensive warding here, really trying to find each other out inside enemy territory. This dragon is just spawned. Venom looking to make it their third of the game. Absolutely nothing TNE could do about that one. They just weren't in position to try to pick that one up. Not sure if it was the dragon timer or if they just felt they weren't in a position to contest it. But TNE definitely mounting a good lead here, but they have given up every dragon of the game so far to Venom. And Venom not going to hesitate to use those advantages. They don't show up on the scoreboard. They don't show up in the gold total, but they're very real and make up for a substantial amount of effective gold. Malkathos on the back end of his team in full retreat mode. Sinful Baggins forces the flash there. Sancanyo ends up whiffing the E, and the damage coming in from TNE is absolutely cleaning up Team Venom. Malkathos the only one left alive. He ends up going down. The double kill going over to Sinful Baggins with the ace. New Exalt have dictated the pace of this game. They are going for inner turret number 2. This wave pushing up very hard. Those death timers still not quite high enough for them to get a substantial amount off of this, but they are pinging out the dragon, and we'll see if they're healthy enough to take this objective out. It's going to be tight, especially if Venom decides to show up to contest. Doesn't look like they're going to be within range to pick this one up, though. Rider Q receiving a heal there, keeping him alive, and Baron going to be headed over to TNE. That is absolutely huge for the new Exalt. They're denying every opportunity for Venom to get back in this game, and by taking that Baron away, they stole the opportunity for Venom to come back and secure it while they were back at base healing. So really good decision making from the new Exalt. We'll see if they are able to transition that into getting an inhibitor turret. That Baron buff going to be giving them quite a bit of pushing power. Crack Variety stopping to grab himself a little red buff snack here. Meanwhile, Rigel Q is in the bottom lane, pushing that one out. Has his teleport available, so he can join the fight at any time if it decides to break out. Mycroft finding himself a ward there as Red Team look to set up a push in mid lane. Red team setting up for the siege on this inhibitor turret. 3-man squad pushing out. Split is going on. Crack Variety in the top lane. Rigel Q in the bottom lane. At this point, Venom don't look quite sure how to respond to it. This outer turret been up for quite a while. Took 31 minutes to take it down, but TNE grabbing themselves another objective. It's 5-3 in turrets so far. Venom still got a chance to come back in this game. New Exalt not using their Baron buff at this stage. Creeping around the jungle, hoping to get a pick. They got a 4-man squad in there. Crack Variety coming up behind his teammates. And that's going to be a full 5-man team pressing on to this bottom lane turret. Crack Variety clearing out these minions and setting up for the siege with his team. Those super minions taking quite a bit of extra damage to tear down thanks to the Baron buff. Wilson Jones chucking bombs from the backside. The wave clear coming out from Venom. Going to be more than enough to handle this. The back calls being made by New Exalt, and Venom have just fended off a very serious attempt to get another inner turret. The last one still standing for Venom. Venom limping along at this stage in the game, but refusing to be down and out just yet. Still able to put up a good defensive. Marksman grabbing his blue buff there. Got his Bloodthirster on top of this Trinity Force. The farm total not as big of a disparity as it used to be. Crack Variety making up quite a bit of difference there. Virtually even at this point from what used to be a 60 CS lead. Wilson Jones still remaining on top though, 304 to 218, and look at the difference between Rigel and Jerry Sandusky. Jerry has his Anya's Hourglass and his Will of the Ancients finished. Still no tier 2 boots though. Meanwhile, Rigel's taking the advantage of having that Spectre's Cowl back into lane with him. First dragon of the game going to be going over for TNE. That ends up taking a big power play away from Venom. They had stacked up those dragons, 3 so far. They wanted to get their 4th, and New Exalt really needed to snuff any comeback attempt by taking that dragon, and that's exactly what they did going in here. TNE not wanting to set up for an extended siege, though. That wave clear is still coming out pretty strong from Venom, even with the Baron buff on. So right now, New Exalt just trying to get picks here and there, not taking too many risky plays. TNE just content to sit back and keep these lanes pressured. Right now, all 3 lanes are up in favor of the New Exalt. They're going to use that map pressure they've earned to head back and buy a few items. Wilson Jones enjoying a nearly 4,000 gold lead on his mid lane opponent. Malkathos is very far behind. Bottom lane gold going to be going over to Crack Variety, just by a hair though. Both sides clearing out the jungle camps as they transition toward objective fights. Venom trying to get these lanes pushed back out in their favor. They've got bottom lane to about half, but those minions are going to start to mount. Trying to get this top lane pushed up as well. Marksman ends up getting jumped on by Rigel there. Quick little dash away, going to keep him safe. Blue Trinket's going to find members of T&E out there. They're not going to get the element of surprise. Not with all these wards down. Wilson Jones using the upgraded sweeper there to clear out a bit of vision from Team Venom. This River Crab going to come up here very soon, and New Exalt have started this dragon fight. They've got Wilson Jones preparing for the engage here, trying to keep Venom away, and they turn off of the dragon. Is a complete bait. Getting in the middle of the team fight. The AoE is going off everywhere. Wilson Jones in the back line blows one up. Rigel Q cleaning another one up here. Malkathos, last one left alive. Hops Lasagna's Hourglass. Double kill going over to Rigel. Mark's main trying not to stay in that fight, but ended up getting taken out anyway. Zark getting jumped on by Rigel here. Ace going over to the New Exalt, and they have completely pulled ahead in this contest. There's nobody left up to deal with any siege they put up, but they've decided to go for Baron attempt number 2. Meanwhile, Wilson Jones is still in the mid lane, still pushing away over there, getting some damage down onto this turret. He is going to be able to take that objective out before anybody comes up. Meanwhile, Baggins and Rigel still doing fairly well for themselves against this Baron. Juggling that aggro back and forth. Baggins trying to get it up in the middle, and Smite goes down. That's going to be second Baron in a row in favor of the New Exalt. Gold difference mounting very heavily after that last team fight. That ace put Venom so far behind. $15,000 in favor of the New Exalt at this stage, and Venom going to have to change things up if they want to come out ahead. Wilson Jones finishing up his 4th item. He's going to be taking that Void Staff into these battles now. Those abilities just going to be hitting that much harder with that extra magic penetration behind all of them. Of course, Venom not in a hurry to get involved in a fight now. They've seen what New Exalt have been capable of so far, and has not worked out very well for them at all trying these extended engagements. That Baron fight was completely in the hands of New Exalt. They had no intention of taking the Baron out. As soon as they saw Venom coming in for the disruption, they completely turned off of it as a 5-man squad and just engaged on Venom and really dictated the pace of that fight. Fought it on their own terms and completely won it. We'll see if they can replicate that success underneath a turret here. So far, Venom has done fairly well at shoving New Exalt off of turrets, but not enough people in range to put up a contest there, and that is their last inner turret. Dragon going to be spawning again here, and New Exalt not wasting any time at all. They definitely did not want to let Venom get their hands on another one, and they grabbed their 2nd dragon of the game. Just all part of the process of keeping their thumb down on top of Venom. New Exalt have got a great lead here and do not want to give up any momentum going into this. They have the open inhibitor here. There is no tower standing in their way. First time this game, and that is going to mean a destroyed inhibitor. New Exalt plenty happy to grab that one and just get out of here. Wilson Jones didn't get the memo on that one. He stuck around for a little while. New Exalt just sort of dancing back and forth here, not really trying to grab any other objectives or start a fight, but they've decided to back up off of that one. Going to be headed into their own jungle, or Venom's own jungle. and get their vision clear on. So no wards from Venom standing in that side of the jungle. If New Exalt don't find what they're looking for off of this turret and decide to back, they're going to have a clear path. Venom not going to have any vision on their exit. Marksman with a great dodge from the bomb from Wilson Jones, but Rigel is on to Malkathos here. That extra pressure lets Crack Variety get some great damage down onto that turret. If this turret falls, Venom is not going to like the outcome. They've shown they're not capable of defending an inhibitor without a turret present. And if Crack Variety gets much more damage onto this turret, it's definitely going to come down. The Leona ultimate actually ended up missing there. Crack Variety launching his ult from the back side, not able to get in on the fight. Gets exhausted out here, but his teammates definitely coming through for him there. And Rigel enters the legendary status. Wilson Jones forcing the flash away from Marksman here. It's going to be the second inhibitor down. Those death timers plenty enough for New Exalt to work with, but Marksman gets the shutdown onto Wilson Jones. Only going to be a consolation prize at this point, though. Crack Variety and Rigel are on to the Nexus. Marksman trying to put up a fight here. Gets taken out by Crack Variety. New Exalt take out Venom in Game 4. Hope nobody lost some mystery skins off of that one.